Hey gang, Luke Austin here. It's week 12 of my fantasy football favorites. We're into the last 2 weeks of the fantasy football season, and if you're in the same position as I am, I have to win out to make the playoffs. So if you're in that same boat, hopefully we can get you these wins. Now don't forget, there is Thanksgiving Day football. We've got 3 games tomorrow, so make sure you have your lineup set nice and early and you're all prepared. So we're going to start off as usual with quarterbacks to start. I really like Ben Roethlisberger this week. He's at home versus the Packers. Now the Packers have allowed big games this season from the likes of Joe Flacco and Mitchell Trubisky, for God's sake. So I don't see Big Ben having a bad day. If he's available or if he's on your roster, get him in this week. Don't be afraid of Matthew Stafford this week either. He's playing the Vikings, who have been tough on defense, but it's a division game. It's tomorrow. He always has big games on Thanksgiving. Don't be afraid of Matty Stafford. Moving on to running backs, Tevin Coleman from the Falcons. Devontae Freeman has been banged up. He hasn't played. We're not sure if he's going to play this week yet or not. So go with Tevin Coleman. And the Buccaneers are allowing an average of 30 PPR points to running backs on the road. So I really like Tevin Coleman this week. DeMarco Murray from the Titans. They're playing the Colts. The Colts are allowing a ton of points to running backs, but DeMarco Murray himself in 3 matchups versus the Colts as a Titan has scored 16.9 PPR points. So yeah, I really like DeMarco Murray this week. Going on to receivers, Mohamed Sanu of the Falcons. I actually have him on one of my teams. He's been scoring the last couple of weeks. He actually has more touchdowns than Julio Jones this season. So if you can grab Sanu, or if you have him on your bench, put him in versus the Bucs this week. And finally, Mike Wallace of the Ravens versus the Texans. Wallace has scored like the last 3 weeks in a row, and the Texans have allowed 9 touchdowns and 54.6 PPR points to wide receiver cores on the road. So I like Mike Wallace this week. Flacco's going to throw him a touchdown. I can almost guarantee it. Now moving on to sits for this week, get Eli Manning out of your lineup if you can help it. Probably chances are you don't have him in, but I don't like Eli Manning. All of their wide receivers are banged up. The only pass catcher he has is Evan Ingram, and that's not going to be great against the Redskins. Alex Smith versus the Bills is iffy. The Bills have a tough defense, and the Chiefs haven't really been playing well the last few weeks, so if you can afford that, avoid Alex Smith. LeGarrette Blount from the Eagles, I like to sit him this week. Jay Ajayi is in Philadelphia now. He's got a pretty firm grip on the offense, it looks like. So you're going to see a lot more of Jay Ajayi and a lot less LeGarrette Blount going forward. And finally, Jordy Nelson with the Packers. Jordy's been a great receiver, but no Aaron Rodgers. The Packers have been terrible. Get him out of your lineup if you can help it. If you can find somebody who will trade for him, that'd be great too. But no Jordy Nelson this week. So to recap, start Big Ben. I really like him against the Packers. Don't be afraid of Matty Stafford on Thanksgiving. Tevin Coleman versus the Buccaneers should be a good play. He's also scored the last few weeks. DeMarco Murray versus the Colts. He's had great games against them in the past. Mohamed Sanu versus the Bucs. Mike Wallace versus the Texans. And sit Eli Manning, Alex Smith, LeGarrette Blount, and Jordy Nelson. Good luck heading into the last 2 weeks of the fantasy football season. Send me your questions for next week, Luke at BigFrog104.com.